The Golden State Warriors enter the 2025-26 season with more questions than answers. Their offseason was quiet, painfully quiet. While the rest of the Western Conference shifted pieces across the chessboard, the Warriors stood still, paralyzed by contract negotiations. The Jonathan Kuminga saga loomed large over every decision. At just 22 years old, Kuminga is the bridge to tomorrow. Yet his restricted free agency has created a stalemate. Extend him? Trade him? Gamble on another year of waiting? The front office has yet to decide. This silence speaks volumes. For a franchise defined by boldness drafting Curry, trading for Iguodala, chasing Kevin Durant in free agency, this hesitation feels uncharacteristic. But perhaps it is also deliberate. Because beneath the surface, the Warriors are preparing for something much bigger than today's struggles. Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler, Draymond Green. Legends, leaders, fighters. Each of them is north of 35, and each of them knows time is undefeated. Curry still dazzles with deep threes and jaw-dropping efficiency, but even he cannot carry the load forever. Butler, a mid-career arrival, was supposed to inject fresh toughness into the roster. Instead, he finds himself grinding through wear and tear, his body reminding him of the battles he has already fought. Draymond remains the emotional heartbeat, but his defense and playmaking are not as sharp as they once were. Together, they embody the heart of a dynasty in its twilight. Contracts expire in 2027. By then, the Warriors could either be on the verge of rebirth or collapse. Across the league, rivals have wasted no time in sharpening their weapons. Houston shocked the world by reuniting with Kevin Durant, adding firepower to a roster already bursting with youthful confidence. Oklahoma City retained its championship-winning core, sending a message that their reign is no fluke. The Clippers and Nuggets reloaded, adding critical depth to weather the grind of an 82-game season and beyond. The West has grown stronger, deeper, and more ruthless. And in this battlefield, Golden State risks being left behind. For a team that once dictated the style of basketball to the entire league, standing still feels like surrender. Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. know this. They are not blind to the storm around them. The Warriors' books are heavy now, expensive veterans, young players needing extensions, luxury tax penalties. But beyond the burden lies opportunity. By 2027, Curry, Butler, and Draymond come off the books. Suddenly, the cap sheet is light. Moses Moody's $13.4 million, Buddy Hield's $10.1 million, perhaps an extension for Podziemski. That's it. Flexibility is the key word. This is why they wait. Why they hesitate. The Warriors are playing the long game. And here lies the dream. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Nikola Jokic. Two names that ignite hope in every franchise. Two players who could shift the balance of power in an instant. According to The Athletic, Golden State is monitoring both situations carefully. Both superstars have player options in 2027. Both could, at least theoretically, walk away from contracts worth over $60 million a year. The odds are slim. Superstars rarely hit the open market. More often, they sign extensions or demand trades before reaching free agency. Yet history offers possibilities. Kevin Durant did it in 2016. LeBron James has done it multiple times. If Giannis or Jokic were to look for a new challenge, a new legacy, why not San Francisco? Why not the Warriors? Imagine Jokic orchestrating Golden State's offense, a point center blending seamlessly with the motion principles that define their dynasty. Imagine Giannis in the Bay, a defensive anchor and unstoppable force in transition, paired with whatever remains of Curry's brilliance. The thought alone is enough to keep fans awake at night dreaming. But dreams carry risk. What if either player leaves? What if extensions keep them tethered to Milwaukee and Denver? Then Golden State could find itself in 2027 with cap space but no star, aging legends retired, and a fanbase staring into the abyss of a rebuild. On the other hand, the rewards are massive. Landing one of those names would extend the dynasty another decade. It would transform San Francisco into the epicenter of basketball once again. It would prove that the Warriors are not just a dynasty of the past, but also a dynasty of the future. So here they stand, stuck in the present, dreaming of the future, waiting for the right move. The Warriors' story is not finished. It is suspended between eras. The echoes of Curry's three-point barrages still fresh, the promise of another superstar perhaps on the horizon. Will Giannis or Jokic wear blue and gold? Will Kuminga become the face of a new generation? Or will Golden State fade quietly, a dynasty remembered but never reborn? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain. The Warriors will never stop hunting for greatness. Their identity is not just about winning championships. It is about chasing the impossible. And in 2027, the impossible might just walk through their door. Golden State's front office has been operating with urgency this offseason. With Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Jimmy Butler all aging but still competitive, there's a strong push to maximize the next couple of years. At the center of many rumors is the question, can they upgrade around the current core enough to contend again, or will they risk rerouting parts of their young core, especially Jonathan Kuminga, in ambitious trades? Giannis Antetokounmpo, the big dream move. One of the biggest names thrown into Warriors trade talk is Giannis Antetokounmpo. The idea of pairing him with Curry and Butler is tantalizing for many fans and analysts. Reports suggest the Warriors have long coveted Giannis, viewing him as the ultimate complement to an aging Curry, elite two-way size, dominant defensive presence, mismatch nightmare in the paint. However, insiders caution this is extremely unlikely in the near term. The Bucks reportedly are not entertaining offers, have made no indication Giannis has requested a trade saying to the Warriors or to any team. For Golden State to pull it off, they would need to include prime assets, Kuminga, draft picks, perhaps others, plus take on salary or undesirable contracts. And given their own payroll constraints, they may not have enough trade capital without seriously hurting depth. In short, Giannis remains a dream scenario more than a realistic one, unless something dramatic changes in the Bucks' internal situation or Giannis himself demands it. Josh Giddey and Al Horford, veteran targets plus roster balance. Another rumor track involves Josh Giddey and Al Horford. The Warriors are reportedly eyeing veteran frontcourt help to compensate for the wear and tear on Green, Butler, etc., and to bolster defensive rebounding, interior versatility, and locker room leadership. Al Horford, still a serviceable veteran big, is often mentioned. As for Giddey, his recent contract situation with the Bulls has thrown off balance across the league. His 4-year, $100 million deal in Chicago now serves as a benchmark for restricted free agents, including Kuminga. The Warriors may view Giddey as an ideal backcourt partner with Curry, someone who can handle creation duties, let Curry play off ball more, relieve some burden. But getting him may require creative structuring or sign-and-trade work. Jonathan Kuminga, key piece or trade asset? At the heart of many of these scenarios is Jonathan Kuminga. Kuminga is a restricted free agent this offseason. The Warriors have reportedly offered a 2-year, $45 million contract with a team option for the second year. Kuminga's camp, however, desires a more lucrative and longer-term deal, one that gives him a bigger role, more touches, more offense. This holdout or negotiation impasse has ripple effects. It delays the Warriors in filling out their roster with veterans like Al Horford. It raises the question, if the Warriors think they might go after someone like Giannis or Giddey in a trade, Kuminga becomes part of the currency. He is one of their few young assets with upside that other franchises value. So is Kuminga likely to leave? The reports suggest the most probable outcome, for now, is that he will take the qualifying offer, which he is strongly considering, and stay with Golden State for the upcoming season. It gives him the chance to prove himself, and gives the Warriors flexibility. But if the opportunity arises, a sign-and-trade could happen. Possible scenario maps. 1. Warriors go all-in for Giannis. They trade Kuminga, some draft picks, perhaps other young pieces and part of their salary cap. They move big pieces, maybe Draymond or others, to make space. The roster is retooled around Curry/Butler/Giannis for a short window. 2. Mid-tier upgrades plus internal development. Warriors decide Giannis isn't feasible, instead aim to sign veterans like Horford, retain Kuminga via qualifying offer or shorter deal, focus on depth, defensive rebounding, perimeter defense, etc. 3. Trade for Giddey plus send out Kuminga. A compromise. Bring in a younger guard who can share playmaking duties, use Kuminga as trade asset to make payroll and roster balance work. Assessing likelihood. The Giannis trade path is the least likely of those listed. Bucks seem reluctant to move him. Demands will be steep. Warriors would have to give up too much, and possibly sacrifice future flexibility. The Giddey plus veteran big route is more plausible. It depends on whether negotiations with Kuminga push them to find better alternatives and whether the Warriors can make contracts align. Kuminga staying under a qualifying offer seems like the baseline scenario, especially since no better long-term contract seems likely at this moment given the market and Warriors' cap situation. So, in summary, everything points to a jam-packed offseason filled with rumors, but the Warriors' most realistic path may be modest improvements rather than a blockbuster move like Giannis. Kuminga's contract standoff is central. Whether he stays, under what deal, or whether he becomes trade leverage, it likely decides how big or small Golden State's ambitions can be. Veterans like Al Horford may come in as auxiliary pieces. Giddey could be pursued, especially if bigger stories stall. But at this the 2025/2026 NBA season is almost here, and all eyes are once again on the Golden State Warriors. A franchise that defined dominance throughout the 2010s now stands at a crossroads, experienced, battle-tested, and carrying the weight of expectations, but also adapting to new realities. This year feels different, not just because Stephen Curry is still the beating heart of the roster, not just because Draymond Green continues to anchor the defense, but because the Warriors made one of the boldest moves of the offseason, bringing in Jimmy Butler. Add to that the development of Moses Moody and a reshaped supporting cast, and suddenly Golden State looks both familiar and refreshingly new. Part 1. The core players. 1. Stephen Curry, the eternal engine. At 37, Steph Curry remains the identity of Golden State basketball. His shooting gravity warps defenses like no other, forcing opponents to guard him 30 feet from the rim. The upcoming season will test how much fuel Curry still has in the tank, but make no mistake, when Curry is on the floor, Golden State believes they can beat anyone. His leadership, conditioning, and relentless work ethic continue to set the tone for the younger players. 2. Draymond Green, the defensive brain. Draymond's voice, IQ, and versatility define the Warriors' defense. While he may not be the same athlete he was in 2016, his ability to orchestrate switches, protect the paint, and guide teammates makes him irreplaceable. His chemistry with Curry still powers the famous pick and roll, and his playmaking from the top of the key ensures the offense flows. 3. Jimmy Butler, the new Warrior. Perhaps the biggest storyline, the arrival of Jimmy Butler. After years in Miami, Butler brings grit, toughness, and playoff resilience. The Warriors have often been labeled as finesse, relying on shooting and movement. Butler changes that narrative. He gives them a closer in crunch time, a physical wing defender, and a cultural spark. His ability to get to the free throw line balances Curry's perimeter attack. Questions remain about health and fit, but on paper, Butler might be the missing ingredient. 4. Moses Moody, the young X-Factor. Moody represents the bridge to the future. Entering his prime years, he has shown flashes of being a reliable 3-and-D wing. With Klay Thompson no longer in the picture, Moody has a golden opportunity to establish himself as a core piece. His growth could determine whether Golden State is merely a playoff team or a true contender. Part 2. The staff and management. Steve Kerr, the architect. Still one of the most respected coaches in the league, Kerr has the challenge of reinventing the Warriors' identity without abandoning their DNA. Expect Kerr to experiment more, using Butler in isolation sets, staggering Curry's minutes to maximize efficiency, and blending veterans with youth. Assistant coaches. Names like Kenny Atkinson and Chris DeMarco will play huge roles in player development and TAC. Assistant coaches. Names like Kenny Atkinson and Chris DeMarco will play huge roles in player development and tactical adjustments. They know the system inside out and will be tasked with integrating Butler while unlocking Moody's potential. Joe Lacob and Mike Dunleavy Jr. Ownership and the front office have made bold moves before, and this year is no exception. Joe Lacob's ambition is clear. He wants another championship window. Mike Dunleavy Jr., the GM, orchestrated the Butler move, signaling that the Warriors are still all in. The message is clear: Golden State is not ready to fade quietly. Part 3: Strategy for the new season. 1. Offense. The Warriors will still rely on their trademark motion offense, ball movement, and spacing. But Butler introduces a new dimension: half-court scoring when plays break down. Expect Kerr to use more spread pick and rolls with Curry and Butler, while Moody spots up on the weak side. 2. Defense. With Draymond and Butler on the floor, Golden State has two vocal, physical defenders. The challenge will be rim protection, an area they've struggled with. A committee of Kevon Looney and younger bigs may be tested. 3. Rotation and depth. Golden State's depth has been questioned. Role players like Brandin Podziemski and Jonathan Kuminga, if retained, must step up. The Warriors' ability to rest stars while maintaining competitiveness could define the regular season. Part 4: The competition. Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is still the most unstoppable force in basketball. Denver's continuity makes them the team to beat. Boston Celtics. Coming off a championship, Boston has the balance of defense and shooting. They will be a nightmare matchup. Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo, paired with Damian Lillard, still forms one of the most dangerous duos. Oklahoma City Thunder. The rising powerhouse led by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chet Holmgren could surprise everyone. Dallas Mavericks, Minnesota Timberwolves, and Los Angeles Lakers all remain dangerous playoff opponents with superstar firepower. For Golden State, the challenge is clear: survive the West Gauntlet and prove they can still compete with younger, faster teams. Part 5: Expectations and Outlook. The 2025/2026 Warriors are not just running it back, they're reshaping their identity. They have Curry's shooting brilliance, Draymond's defensive genius, Butler's playoff toughness, Moody's youth and upside. If they stay healthy and the chemistry develops, Golden State could absolutely contend for another championship. If not, they may find themselves outpaced by younger rosters. But here's the truth: never underestimate the heart of a champion. The Warriors have been counted out before, and every time, they've found a way to silence critics. The upcoming season is a story of transition, resilience, and ambition. Golden State has reinvented itself before. And with Steve Kerr, Joe Lacob, and the leadership of Curry, Butler, and Green there. The story of the Golden State Warriors at this moment is not just about basketball games. It is about legacy, money, time, and the weight of expectations. At the heart of it all stands Jonathan Kuminga, a young forward with explosive talent, and Stephen Curry, the face of a dynasty that changed the NBA forever. Their paths are connected, yet their battles are different. One is fighting for his future, the other is fighting against time. Jonathan Kuminga enters the 2025 offseason with confidence, but also with frustration. Negotiations with the Warriors have dragged on endlessly. The team has offered him 2 years at $45 million, with a team option for the second year. To Kuminga and his camp, this feels insulting. Around the league, other young players are signing bigger and longer contracts. Josh Giddey, for example, secured a $100 million deal in Chicago. Kuminga's representatives point to that contract and ask, why should Jonathan accept less? The Warriors insist they are protecting their flexibility, their salary cap, and their long-term plan. Each meeting between the two sides ends without progress. As the headlines swirl, Steph Curry remains calm on the surface but thoughtful underneath. At 37 years old, he has seen it all: championships, MVPs, heartbreaks, and triumphs. He is still one of the most dangerous players in the league, but he knows his window is closing. While the media focuses on Kuminga's contract, Curry is being honored back home in North Carolina. Davidson College and the Department of Transportation decide to rename Exit 30 on Interstate 77 after him. To the world, it is a symbolic gesture. To Curry, it is deeply personal. He remembers driving that road as a boy, never imagining his number would someday become part of the map. But legacy does not erase the pressure of the present. Training camp is only weeks away. If Kuminga does not accept the qualifying offer of $7.9 million, his future will hang in limbo. Rumors of a sign-and-trade spread quickly. Some fans believe the Warriors should move on and build around